Good morning, y'all. Hunting season is over. So, this is my first weekend to have Jean back on the weekends, and we are getting some projects done today. Gonna be a fun day. This is what Chase and I have been working on. We have been cleaning up the garden beds and getting them ready to plant. They were a mess. See all the grass in these? I've been hand pulling all of these weeds out of here and cleaning this up. So I've got one bed done and we've got about, 9 or 10 more to go. Chase and I went the other day to my friend Holly. She manages the community garden at the University of Montevallo here in Alabama. And there's huge piles of compost and mulch there where the city brings it and drops it off for her to use there at the garden, and she always lets us come and get some because there's so much there. She's no way she could ever use it all. So we started going last year and getting this and bringing it to the garden, and last year's garden was awesome. It really did well. It's really good compost. So Chase and I went the other day and we got us a load of compost and leaves and pine straw, and we brought it on home, and this is what we have been doing. So we're putting the mulch in the pathways, which is the leaves and the pine straw, and we're putting the compost on the beds on the little areas where we're going to be planting, and that's just adding some nutrients back to the area where we're going to plant. So we've got one bed completed, and I'm working on weeding the second bed now. And I've got about 9 or 10 more beds to do if you count the medicinal herb garden. Long way to go, but it's a good start. What you working on?
I'm not really sure what this berm is. I forgot. But we're working on our back fence. She's gonna plant something here. I guess tomatoes or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna plant tomatoes on the trellis, I think.
But this is gonna be a start of our perimeter fence to go around the potager garden. And hopefully keep the deer and the chickens out for the most part. But I'm gonna put it up today with just some zip ties and a little wire, and then we're gonna order a bunch of stainless steel zip ties to finish it out. That's the plan.
So it'll have a dual purpose. It'll be a fence and it'll be a trellis.
Gotta have something to keep Tracy in here. Putting up these nice birdhouses because it's almost spring and they're gonna start building. We love birds. How high you want it?
That's good.
Welcome home. Champ ain't had a chicken in a long time, and I think it's time we give Champ a chicken. Champ want a chicken? Go, buddy.
It's working out pretty good. We had just enough plastic left over from last year to wrap the chicken tractor for our temporary greenhouse. And it's working out pretty good. Stays pretty warm in here. We got cabbages. And this is cauliflower. This is the white cauliflower, and let's see, who is it? It's Snowball. This is the purple graffiti, and this is the new yellow one that Halls has, Flame Star. And these are my Brussels sprouts and broccoli and lettuces so far. The rest of my stuff is in the house on the grow station and on the heat map, getting started good. That's what I got so far, and this little greenhouse is working out pretty good.
So we're out here at the pine trees. We've been doing this for, I think I planted these 2.5 years ago, but I was coming out here at night in the summertime during the drought, watering them when I'd get off work. And well, I've had some die in the process, but we got these planted for our front shield from the road. And then if you look way back in there, you really can't see them, but I planted all of them. There's a video on that where I planted them, I don't know, 300 or so pines, but planted them with a shovel. And there's really a tool that you can use to, I think it's called a spade, but I've just been using an old shovel. Tracy and I were wanting to plant some more pines because she really liked it once she seen how good it looks, and we're going to use the pine straw, of course. But we wanted to go up our driveway when we get the fence in here. So the other day, last weekend, me and Chase was going down the interstate, and I noticed there was a one of those Spider motorcycle vehicles on the side of the road, and it was almost like brand new. It was the 3-wheeler kind of deal. So I looked at it. There was an orange streamer flying from it, and right past it I noticed there was a fresh big old bag, white bag of pine tree seedlings. And I was about to have to go buy some anyway, and they're anywhere from $60 to $100 depending on what variety. And just so happens I seen that the bag was busted fresh, and there's 1,000 pine tree seedlings. And so I was pulling a camper back from the hunting camp, so I had to take it on because I couldn't just stop. So I was praying that they'd still be there that evening, and I went back and they were there, and I did me a dance on the road, man. So here's they're you know, just pine tree seedlings. I've got, like I said, over 1,000. Chip, get over here. So anyway, I've got Tracy helping me plant these. It's perfect because it rained a lot yesterday. Ground's still moist, it's cold, and this will get a good foothold in before the drought of the summer, so I won't have to water them. What I'm doing is I just stick my shovel in, make a pretty good hole, and kind of wall it out a little bit. And then what you do is, a guy told me that when you plant these pine tree seedlings, if you plant them in the ground and the roots bend up like that, they call it J-hooking. So if you J-hook it, he said they won't live. So what I do is I stick them way down in there, and then I do a little dance and pull it on up. And what it does is, when you stick it in the dirt, it does like this. But as you pull it up and do a little dance and just kind of wiggle it a little bit, it straightens them out. And then I push the dirt. So again, you just stick it on down in there real far as you can reach the bullet, and then just wiggle it up. And then it's perfect when you have two people, but Tracy's holding it now. See, the roots are right here at the top of the ground. They're straight. And then I just pack the dirt in around it, and it's good to go. See how cool that looks?
Mm-hmm.
Next year, it's just gonna be brown with pine straw. So we got these plastic zip ties we put on here, and we've learned our story that the UV and the sun breaks them up, and after about 6 months they're no good. So I've had some viewers tell us about these awesome stainless steel zip ties, and we had a viewer, thanks Phyllis, it's a great tool. She sent us tools and some zip ties, so it's amazing.
And a cute goat towel.
Yeah,
towel with a goat and baby chicks on
it. We thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Phyllis.
And these are very simple to install. You just put it around, pull it through, and just cinch it up by hand, kind of tight. And then this little tool, you have to stick it down in here. It's a little tricky getting it in here, but you just stick it in like this and pull it through there. Push it all the way in, and the tensioner, I have to keep the, but you just tighten it up like that. And then this right here, when you lift it up, breaks off the excess. So it's on there. And we've been doing all of our places where we've used zip ties. I even did our arches. It's amazing. So this will be there. They're stainless, so I don't have to redo this.
We're going to work on redoing the greenhouse later on, right?
Yeah, going to have it done before this next fall. Just not going to do it right now. We've got too many other things to do. We've got so much to do, but my son and his wife, Renee, are going to be coming here to stay for a while because they're being restationed to another Air Force base. And we are so happy about that.
They're going to be closer to us.
Yes. So we've got a lot to do, just like everybody else.
As long as we can get the greenhouse done before winter time next year. We made a little makeshift greenhouse out of the chicken tractor, and it's working pretty good. Many of you have asked me in past videos, how do I keep the garden so weed free and what do I use for mulch? And I usually have been using these big round bales of hay that I get from a cattle farmer down the road, and it's hay that has been sitting for years and years, and he just always lets me get some each year. And I've never really had a problem, but this year when I put the mulch out in my garden in fall and winter, I've ended up with all of this grass and all of these weeds. So it just, I guess it didn't compost enough and the seed germinated, and now I've got this grass and weeds in my garden, and I've got to get a handle on it. About the only way I know how to really get a handle on all of this organically is to just hand pull all of these weeds and grass and get all of the root out and remove it from the garden, and then come back and add some more compost and some more mulch. I'm looking for a new mulch source. So we're getting some from my friend Holly at the garden. She's got some piles of like straw and leaves, and leaves is really good mulch. So I'm getting some of that, and I'm just looking for resources to use for the mulch in the garden, because the hay was just very, very economical, and it covered a lot of space, and I could do it really, really thick. And I think that's the key to weed control, is really thick mulch. And so that's where I'm at. I'm just looking for some really good mulch source that is not going to cause this kind of a weed problem in my garden again. My process is to just hand pull all of the weeds, and then as I pull them up, I make sure to shake all of the soil off of the weeds or the grass clump that I can, because I worked really hard to bring in this good soil, and I don't want to just throw it all in the compost. I want to try to put it back in the garden. So I just shake it off the best that I can and try to keep it in the garden. I've been bringing my buckets of weeds and grass that I've been pulling over to the chicken coop and just dumping it out for the chickens inside their coop and leaving it in that big pile when I dump it out. And they love going through that pile. They love it. They're not as excited about it if I spread it out for them. They want it in that big pile. And they'll sit and go through that for forever until they get it all spread out. They go through it and eat the bugs and eat whatever they want out of it, and they just scratch through it and spread it all over their coop. And I don't know how many containers of weeds and grass that I've brought over here so far, and I'm just on the third bed. But the whole coop is just covered in all of these weeds, where they've just spread it out all over their whole coop. And then they're pooping on it, and they're scratching through it and eating on it. And it's just breaking down and turning into really good compost. And then in a few months or so, Chase and I will come in and clean out the top layer of this coop, and we'll put it all in the compost pile. And that's create some really good compost for the future garden. But what I really love is watching the chickens go through these piles. It just entertains them, and it entertains me. My next step after I get all of the weeds out of an area is to come in and reshape all my planting rows within the garden bed space that we're working on. Jean got me this big pile of compost So Chase is helping me add it to the potager garden beds now. And then whatever's left in this area, we're just going to spread it out, disc up that area, just a little plot right there in that area to plant our okra, some melons, maybe a few rows of corn, and some peanuts. I think we're gonna try some peanuts this year. Chase really loves boiled peanuts, and I think we're gonna give that a try. But right now, Chase is helping me to add the compost to the rows in the garden beds of the potager garden. We'll come back and add the mulch layer in between the rows in those pathways, and the mulch being the straw and the leaves, which is also going to be breaking down into soil. So we're just constantly building this soil, and then these beds will be ready to plant.